Tree Talking Time is brought to you by Conkey's Outdoors. Get all your hound hunting needs at conkeys.com. Welcome to Tree Talking Time, where we talk all things tree dogs, from the smallest feists to the largest hounds, treating squirrels to bears and everything in between. And from time to time, we might even run a little fast game. Need reliable housing for your animals? Animal Housing Solutions in Mayo, Florida builds custom coops, kennels, and shelters that are strong, durable, and designed with your animal's comfort in mind. Whether you need a large-scale kennel or a small custom chicken coop, they've got you covered. Quality craftsmanship, great service, and solutions built to last. That's the Animal Housing Solution promise. Check them out at Animal Housing Solutions on Facebook. Animal Housing Solutions, where your animals come first. Your dogs deserve the very best, and that's exactly what Elite Nutrition Canine Products delivers. Packed with premium ingredients and backed by science, their formulas are designed to boost energy, support joint health, and keep coats shiny and strong. Whether you've got a working dog, a hunting partner, or just a loyal best friend, Elite Nutrition gives them the fuel they need to thrive. Don't settle for ordinary. Choose the nutrition your dog deserves. Find Elite Nutrition Canine Products today and give your dog the Elite Edge. Go to shopeliteglobal.com and use the code TREE10 on your next purchase.
So we were coon hunting one night, and it was everything we hunt is pretty much public ground.
Okay.
And we had gotten, like, where we hunt, you have to check in, you have to drive by like a check-in spot. And we were squirrel hunting there previously, and we told the guy we'd like to come back for a coon hunt, and he gave us this spot. So I just marked it where we would turn in at. Well, we turned in above it, and I turned the dog out, and he treated it. He sounded weird. So we found this little paved road, and we thought we'd get closer to him. Well, we ended up down at the very bottom of this. It was like a canyon wall, and we could hear him up there. And the only way to get to him was I had to climb up this like rock wall.
Oh, geez.
And I don't even think he was treated. I don't know how this dog got to where he got to, but I think he was just barking more for help.
Because he got stuck.
And what?
Because he got stuck there.
Yeah, he got stuck off this little edge or ledge rather. And as I was climbing up there, my wife, this was probably like her third time out at night with me. I was climbing up, and I kicked a rock loose accidentally, and it came tumbling down, and she thought it was me. So she's at the bottom crying, she thought I had rolled right past her. The dog's barking. I'm in the he's pleading for help. I'm in the middle, and I don't know what I just got us into. I felt terrible for her. She's standing down there with like a flashlight, trying to watch me climb and hearing the dog, and he sounds off. So I got up to him and managed to kind of I threw him somewhat on my back and shoulder, and he was just happy I was up there. So he was cooperating. We got back down, and she took about 10 minutes to gather herself in the car.
I can understand.
How she goes with me anymore, I don't know how she puts up with some of the stuff I get us into.
Has she been hunting with you ever since you guys got together?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Otherwise, she had no experience with it.
Okay. I think it's awesome that you guys are getting your daughter out too.
Yeah. It's. I mean, you have kids too. It's an extra challenge.
Yeah. How old's your daughter now?
She's 14 months.
Yeah, you're packing a little kid, like little baby.
Yeah. So it's not, it's like Garmin check, collar check, leash, guns, ammo, diaper, bottle,
yeah,
all kinds of stuff, and carrying it all through.
Yep. See, I've not been that brave. I've waited at least until they were 3 or 4. Okay,
well, that's smarter.
I did take Carter, my youngest, one time. Now, it was squirrel hunting. Had a backpack carrier, and I took him one time.
That's what we have. We got forget the brand name. It's a little bit more expensive, and it has like all the compartments to carry like a bottle and everything extra. And we've had to adjust like certain. At the beginning of the season, she tried to come with me to like every tree, and that just wasn't really doable. So a lot of times I'll leave them in a fun little spot, mark them on the Garmin, and then I'll come back to them.
Okay.
But she still like if it's a an easier walk, she'll come in and try to search the tree and keep her entertained. It's chaotic.
I'm sure. But your daughter, especially when she's older, she'll remember those, being packed around. Not that she's going to remember a whole lot of it, but she's going to remember just like the gist of getting packed around. And
we always made the joke too, like we're gun breaking her because
that's too funny. Well, Carl, why don't you introduce yourself?
My name's Carl Winski. I hunt with my wife. We're hunting out of Shepherdsville, Kentucky, and we just love running these all different breeds of Cur Dogs.
Yeah, that's one thing I've really enjoyed watching. You post on all these different groups is the different array of Cur Dogs that you guys have.
Yeah,
you're not just like, oh, I've got Stevens. Oh, I've got a blackmouth. Oh, I've got a mountain cur. You've got one of everything.
Yeah, I mean, in some ways, it would make it easier if we just liked one, like if everything was that particular breed. But I don't know.
So let's break down your pack of Cur Dogs that you've got.
All right. So Chief is our Stevens cur.
Okay.
I believe he's about 4.5. Bell is our Ladner blackmouth cur. Mac is our OMC dog, like I always like to say the butcher dog.
Yeah.
And then recently acquired a dual registered OMC Kemmer bred dog from Chris Boone, and then we got a dog from Mr. Jeremy Gardner. He's a man. I don't think he understands. Like I'm a huge fan of him. So my wife and I we told each other like, hey, if we ever get a chance to get a Cane Creek dog, we got to do it. So he had a litter of pups. It's all Cur Dog, but he's not registered with anything.
Okay.
That's what we got right now.
And you raised the litter out of your Stevens and your blackmouth, right?
Oh, we did. Yeah, one litter.
How have those pups turned out?
The ones that I kept in contact with, pretty decent. One actually made a pretty decent bear dog.
Okay.
The other ones I've kind of fallen out of contact with. Mm-hmm. The last I had heard, two of them went to the same spot. They were making good squirrel dogs. And then one guy recently had asked if I wanted to buy him back. He said he was doing pretty good on squirrel.
Okay. I thought that was a good looking litter of pups. I mean, most of them were black, if I remember correctly, but
no, yeah, they were all black.
Okay.
They were black.
Yeah.
They didn't turn out as big as I thought they would, but standard, like I think 30 to 40 pounds.
Okay.
Full grown.
Now, how did you get started in Cur Dogs?
I got started in Cur Dogs. So I grew up in Arizona, and I grew up, like my whole family hunted, but nobody did anything with dogs. And as a kid, my parents always, kind of like how we all started with Old Yeller and Where the Red Fern Grows. But my family was big into elk hunting, so small game wasn't really a thing. And as a kid, you're not going to have a pack of lion dogs. So, yeah. But as I got older, I found Squirrel Dog Central, and I found videos on YouTube, and I was like, oh, you can hunt squirrels with dogs. That's doable. So I thought, and I saved up some money, and I got a dog from North Carolina flown out. And that was my first Cur Dog.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not many people are flying Cur Dogs across the country.
I know. It so expensive. I had to sell things, do odd jobs. It was not cheap.
How
And
old
I
were
had
you?
her flown out. I think I had to be like 15 or 16.
Dang.
And yeah, I remember I had to ride my little bike to Walmart and do a money order to him to get he had to pay for the shipping.
Yeah.
So I paid him for the shipping, but he had to be the one to do it all since he had the dog.
Yep.
So yeah, that was an experience.
How'd that dog turn out for you?
Well, if I'm being honest, not good, because I think here's the issue was more I've learned is that dog. So she was obviously North Carolina. She was a sight dog, which is great when you have trees that drop their leaves and stuff in the fall. Well, in Arizona, it's all pretty much pines.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a sight dog, they're not seeing them in those trees. They have to be able to track a little bit.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of walking, and every once in a while she'd treat me a squirrel, but not the most fun.
I can imagine.
It was but it was I shouldn't say it was always fun. It just wasn't like we weren't loading tailgates or anything.
Yeah. So,
And
if you got started,
yeah.
you were from Arizona. How in the world did you end up in Kentucky?
Well, so I met my wife, and her whole family is from Kentucky. She was born here.
Okay.
But we met at work, and I always wanted tree dogs, and I knew it wasn't really going to happen for me in Arizona. And she had always talked about moving back to Kentucky, and I was like, well, if I'm going to have squirrel and coon dogs, and you want to move back, like let's do it. Let's go back.
Makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of our move was for dogs.
Okay. Not what most people would, the reason most people relocate.
That's no, I know. I mean, it's a thing for me, but probably to a fault actually. It consumes me to a point where it's probably not the best. And I'm not even doing competitions of it. It's just for pleasure.
Yeah.
But
now, was your Stevens dog the first dog you got once you moved to Kentucky, or?
No. So when we moved here, we had dogs before we even had furniture in the house. The first dog was technically it would have been an OMC dog, but he was not registered.
Okay.
And then the other dog we had was another blackmouth cur, but it was not a Ladner.
Gotcha.
Both of those dogs didn't really work out.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was a good experience. I think so that blackmouth cur ended up on a farm, and the OMC, or not OMC, that cur dog actually had to be put down for health reasons.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. But they taught us a lot. I don't know how my wife and I stayed together trying to train two puppies at first, like as we had just bought a house together and everything. It was trying times there for a little bit.
I bet. See, my wife does not hunt with me. She gets the aftermath when I come home and I'm frustrated. And she's like, I don't get why you have them dogs. She's like, you just come home and you're frustrated.
That is exactly what happens here. She'll tell me sometimes, she'll say, all right, you have to leave the dogs outside now. Well, what I will say though is there's been a lot of times though where she'll have a different perspective, or she'll actually kind of she takes the frustration out of it, because her attitude is just so much better than mine. So I was like, all right, well,
yeah,
I like your way of looking at it.
Good. At least it works for you guys and helps you. That's for sure.
The funniest times we get in arguments and stuff, and we do laugh about it later, is trying to tell each other where we see the squirrel when the other one doesn't. And the big tree to the left never works. just for anyone listening, like that's never a good direction of.
Yeah, I've learned, especially with squirrels, your best bet is a laser pointer.
Yeah.
Because, lordy, trying to point a squirrel out to somebody.
Yeah. Trying to explain what you see when there's no real distinction is almost impossible.
Yeah. Heck, even trying to explain where a coon is and as big as a coon can be, you know.
Yeah.
I've had struggled to
unless they're looking
that.
at you, they can blend in pretty well. And a fun fact is I'm like legally blind.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Daggum. So you need your wife to go just so she can find all the squirrels for you.
Yeah. Yeah, and she knows that too. So sometimes if I get too frustrated, she can play that card.
That's funny.
But no, all of our different Cur Dogs, it all started from like I was on Squirrel Dog Central and just hearing about all the different breeds and what they can all do.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of just always had this like just this want to see some of how true these things are, and I have to say, like a lot of the claims about these breeds are pretty on point if you give them a shot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, first of all, I will say all of them I've seen can win. The Stevens dog, I would say is better at moving a track, but like anyone who's kind of done any research on like the old stock mountain curs, and they talk about their winding ability and their drive to get out there if they have to. I would say from my experiences, that's pretty accurate.
Mm-hmm.
The Ladner's pretty gritty when she needs to be, especially, and she can also wind from a pretty good distance.
Okay. How old is your Kemmer pup?
Kemmer pup, I believe, is 8 months old, and she's also she's been like so easy to work. She makes me feel like I'm the best trainer in the world, which I am not. I just have gotten lucky again, and the dogs just make it look good. I'm sure I've made some huge mistakes that they overcame.
Yeah.
Just from their breeding.
Conkeys Outdoors is proud to be a sponsor of Tree Talking Time. Family, hunting, tradition is the Conkeys motto. They understand the importance of passing down the tradition of hound hunting. They are a family-owned business that treats you like family. They also understand the importance of having the gear you need when you need it. Conkeys carries everything for your next hunt, and it ships to your door quick. They also offer great warranties on all tracking systems and financing options. Check them out at conkeys.com. You can also use the code TreeTalkingTime5 in all caps to save as well.
But yeah, I used to go on those old forums and just read about like some of these things these guys were able to accomplish with these dogs, and
I'm right there with you.
You almost can't believe it. Yeah,
that was that's how I spent my teenage years, because my parents were not on board with me getting a dog. So all through high school, I spent my time on all the forums.
I never was fortunate enough to get on Squirrel Haters, but I was on Squirrel Dog Central. I missed the chat rooms. Oh my goodness, those were fun.
I never really got into the chat rooms, but I was on Haters, I was on Squirrel Dog Central, I was on coondogs.com, I was on the UKC forum.
The UKC forum was awesome. I still will search things back on, like if you go on Google and just hit UKC forum with a specific topic, it'll still pop up.
Okay. I wonder if that'll be because they recently just closed the forums down.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh no. No, I used to just sit there and read those for long periods of time.
Oh yeah, I learned so much from those forums. This was long before I even got a dog, hunted with a cur dog or a feist or anything, any sort of tree dog, and here I am just sitting there
reading it all and absorbing what I can. And
Yeah, he's talked about it before, but I remember on Squirrel Dog Central just reading some of the stories from NC Catfisher
yeah,
and just being like, man, that must have been a cool hunt.
that was one of my favorite things is seeing, obviously Facebook has replaced the pictures but I would also say people wrote more of their stories about their hunts out. Where I feel like
Yeah, you
Facebook,
definitely got more of it.
people don't write as much out as they used to with the forums.
Yeah, you used to you would get a couple pictures but mostly it would be text. And honestly, at the beginning, it was kind of hard to post a picture. I think that's probably why. It was much more of a process.
You had to have a photo bucket account. You had to know how to link the photo bucket photo into the forum.
Yeah,
I got good at it.
I even a couple of years ago, Squirrel Dog Central was still around, and it got easier. You had to, you had your original picture on your phone, then you had to take a screenshot and square it, and then you were able to post it.
Okay. But, I knew it came back. I never really got on it much when it did. I think I got on it once or twice. And kind of, I guess the reason I didn't stick around was there just didn't seem to be a lot of activity.
Yeah, it was pretty dead for a long time. There would be, honestly, I think just a handful of guys keeping it going, and it was sad. It was sad to watch it go.
Yeah. But I remember in its heyday and in the heyday of Squirrel Haters, if you spent a couple days away from the forums, you were lost. Like what had happened, and because there'd be all kinds of stuff that would happen.
Yeah,
and
there was a lot of great training information on there too.
Oh yeah,
they had pinned or archived. I forget the word exactly, but they had a whole section where guys had just inputted their tips or what they do, and you could just scroll through that and just kind of take whatever you wanted to from it.
Yeah. I thought it was cool. They had different sections for different breeds. So if you were interested in, a Leica, you could go to the Leica section. If you were interested in, mountain curs, you go to the mountain cur section. And
well, and that's kind of how I'm in the position I am. Just you go through those enough and hear what those dogs can do. You're like, I gotta see what that's all about.
Yeah. But what made you? I don't know. The order that you got your dogs in, was it by happenstance or did you plan it that way?
I always knew that I always knew I wanted to try the different breeds, but yeah, opportunities would just come up and it would be like, okay, well, I've always heard about that guy and I know that I'm not going to get a better, genetic lottery ticket. So I might as well take this one. And I tried, my wife and I, because like I said, I would come home pretty frustrated and she would see it in the woods. So what we kind of came up with is well, we have to at least get one to where we feel like it's well enough started that if we were to do another pup, we're not messing up two different dogs. So we had certain check marks that a dog would have to hit, and then we're like, okay, now if we see another pup come up, well, at least we feel confident enough to where we could take that one on and kind of stagger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, it kept it interesting.
I'm sure. Now, since you've tried so many different breeds, is there one that stands out that you feel like you really like more so than others?
Well, if I were to just be a strictly coon hunting, it would be the Stevens.
Okay.
For sure. Yeah. Just everything from them being open and a lot of guys say that if they're good at one, they'll be just as good at the other, and I think that's true. But you can hear it at night when he opens on a track. It's just you can tell he'd rather be after a coon than a squirrel.
Mm-hmm.
So I do agree with that. And then for squirrel, it would depend on the day you ask me. It's neck and neck between my OMC dog Mac and the Ladner blackmouth cur for a squirrel.
Okay.
Any given day, they could be our absolute favorite. If I had to pick right now, I think it would be the Ladner.
Okay.
But she's also just a little bit older too, so that I'm sure that's coming into play.
Mm-hmm. Now, did you get her from Kurt?
Yes.
Okay.
Kurt and Tanya were awesome to us, and I still talk to them quite a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had been talking to them for a while, and I was telling them, we really were looking for a squirrel dog that if we wanted to coon hunt her, we could, but the primary thing we'd be doing would be squirrel hunting.
Yep.
And then Mr. Conrad, Danny Conrad, I don't think there's anyone who knows the old school lines of mountain cur more than he does.
Yeah.
But it was fun to get a pup from him.
Cool. That's Mac, right?
Yeah, that's Mac.
Mm-hmm. Who'd you get your Stevens from?
Chad Hatfield.
Okay.
Yeah. He had done some winning with his Stevens, and I think he had been in full cry a couple times. I'm not 100% on that, but
gotcha.
It was also nice because he's in Kentucky, so not having to travel extra for dogs always always nice.
For sure.
Yeah. And then the Chris Boone pup, everyone that talks about how fast the Kemmers start, and so, I mean, she was a natural, just out by the feeders, all on her own. Like I said, made me look good. I just had to walk up and pet her on the head.
Yeah. One of these
and
days,
everyone's just been so nice to talk to. I bug all of those guys for tips, or if I'm doing something wrong, and every one of them has been more than happy to help me out. And,
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's been great.
Yeah, I know one of these days I definitely want to try Kemmer. I just got my hands full with my leopard dogs at the moment, so one day I will.
And you call your leopard dog, you basically call them curs, right?
They're registered hounds, but
they're okay, but they're more like okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially like the two females that I got, my male dog is half plot hound. He is much more houndy than his mother or his aunt.
Okay.
So, but yeah, all my females are much more cur dogs in appearance, in just the way they mind.
Yeah.
Attitude.
That's another reason I like the cur dogs, is just how they mind.
Yeah.
Funny enough, I did try a big game bred hound pup for squirrel in Arizona when I had that cur, and also that did not go well, as you can imagine. Cold trailing a squirrel, it did not work out well.
Out of curiosity, why don't you want to be a lion hunter or bear hunter out there?
Well, just first of all, talking with those guys out there and everything, they made it seem like it was not, I don't want to say unobtainable, but I just didn't, as a kid, I didn't see it working out, because I grew up in the suburbs with going up to the mountains during hunting season, and those guys were living it, there in areas that didn't really appeal to me. It was more like they were in almost desert kind of setting areas, and that's not that wasn't appealing as much as being up in the mountains.
Gotcha.
But I don't know. Just having that pack of hounds, which kind of doesn't make sense because now I have it here with squirrel dogs, but I don't know.
Because I don't know. Granted, I have no desire to necessarily live in Arizona, but I'd have a pack of big game dogs over a pack of squirrel and coon dogs.
Well, I think it's
If I
always
had to,
too. It's like, grass is always greener, I guess. But
yeah,
yeah, but I think now that you ask, like to go on a lion hunt, okay, you have to like it's not the way I squirrel hunt. Like I go to work, and then my wife and I come home, and we're able to just change real quick, grab the dog, and go to the woods, and then we hunt, we come home, and then we get back to a regular life. If you
yeah,
have a big game time, it's much more. There's no leisure in it. It's like
yeah. Nah,
you're fully committed for a while.
yep. Now I learned. My wife, I shouldn't say my wife learned that the hard way one day. I told her, I said, if we get done early, I'll come home on this day. I said, and so therefore in her mind, I was coming home. Well, we did not get done early. And I was on a mountain in West Virginia until dark. And she's calling me and blowing my phone up, and I've got no service. And I felt bad.
Yeah,
She's like,
you
you
get
told me you were
yeah.
coming home. And I'm like, no, I said if we got done early, I was coming home. We did not get done early.
Yeah, no, that is an extra benefit of having Rebecca out there with me. Is like she sees what's going on and she's all in it. So that part I lucked out on.
Absolutely. No, and I think it's awesome that you guys get out there as a family. And like I said, that you take your daughter already. I think it's
Yeah,
super cool.
yeah. It's we're pretty blessed, pretty lucky with it.
Yeah.
But it's it's awesome as long as you don't do some of the things I do. Where like I'm really big on trying to do everything I can for a young pup, and I get too wrapped up in it, and it's not worth it. And there's been more times where I've had to learn like I need to enjoy this more and not be so intense
Yeah.
because yeah,
No,
and
I
having them out there kind of reminds me of that. So
understand. Sometimes you're trying to do as much as you can to get that pup started, and
yeah,
sometimes it's like we said, we get frustrated because
yeah,
you think that they should be further along doing X, Y, and Z, and they're not. And
yeah. But I mean, at the end of the day, every time we get back to the truck, I'll say we always have something to laugh about, or something that happened that was really cool, or a young dog did something that was not expected, and you get to share that part with them. It's pretty fun.
yeah. So what's the big plans for this pack of Cur Dogs?
Well, I would kind of like to try that Stevens and Ladner cross again.
Okay.
Uh, I really would. So this is a dog podcast, but when we had made that cross, we planned on keeping at least two of them, but we had some huge complications with the pregnancy, and we ended up at the Cincinnati Children's Hospital for 3 months,
Oh wow.
and I had to do something with that litter, so we ended up not being able to keep any of those.
Yeah.
So I would like to try that again and keep one. And then if the dual registered female turns out, I would love to have that to Mac. It wouldn't be dual registered, but it would be OMC registered.
Yep.
So that would be those are the two things that I think eventually would be pretty cool.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the battle, I don't know if they're calling it the Battle of the Breeds or,
Yeah.
but that would be, I think we've never been to anything, and I think that would be a fun one to go to with all three of those.
Yeah.
The Ladner will have to stay back, but the other three can go.
Yep. I think that's a pretty cool hunt that CBA is kind of putting on, and
Yeah,
in
I think
combination with
that's
some
awesome.
the other registries.
Yeah, it would be even better if we got to dual register all three of them. But even just having that hunt, it sounds so much fun.
Yeah. Which, if you're not familiar, they're hunting. It's at Jamestown. It's this, I don't know, May or April.
I think it's April.
I think something like that. And It's Stevens, Kemmers, and OMCBA dogs. The Battle of the Mountain Curs, basically the different, strains that have offshoot. So
Yeah.
it's a.
Yeah, I think we would really like, if everything works out, we would really like to go to that.
I think that's going to be a cool event, and I hope
Yeah.
it has a good turnout, and I hope it continues. I think it'll be pretty cool if it does.
I think so too. It sounds like a lot of really, really nice people have kind of gotten the OMCBA. Like everything looks like it's just running smooth, and I don't know. That would be cool to go with all those guys. If all the Kemmer people show up and the Stevens people show up.
I tell you what. Granted, I've never been to Jamestown, but I was a stone's throw from Jamestown hog hunting last month. That is some rough country in there.
Is it?
Yeah.
I've never been there myself, but
I don't know exactly where you're at in Kentucky, so to know how different it would be, but I just know where I hog hunted was in the general area, and also went and squirrel hunted with Stacy Barger, which he's only, I don't know, an hour and a half from there, so it's similar as well. And like I said, it's a little rough.
Yeah.
For squirrels.
Where we hunt I'm not going to call them mountains, but it's very like you're going straight up and then you're going straight back down, and you're just doing that the whole hunt.
Okay.
We're in the Ohio Valley.
Well,
yeah.
if you're going straight up and down, you should be all right to go there.
Okay. All right.
Well, you got any good stories?
Yeah. So another one, I guess. So I was probably about 19 years old, and like I said, I was pretty much legally blind, but I finally got my driver's license, and my parents, because they knew I'd probably ding it up, they got me a 1999 gold Dodge Caravan with like a missing hubcap. But anyway, that big game bred hound, I was like, wow, I gotta try. So I took him to some public ground on what they call the Verde River out in Arizona, which backs up to some beautiful golf courses and multi-million-dollar homes. But on the river, you're allowed to hunt. So I turned him out all by myself, and I was having a ball. He was opening, and I was like, man, I can't even believe it. We might actually tree a coon. And I started rushing in there, and both of us, he was on a skunk, and I got him, toned back to me. But driving home in a gold Caravan with, we're both breathing it in and coming down the street with that sliding door open, trying to air it out. I mean, it was the whole family it was right around Christmas time, and I never heard the end of it. And people behind the golf courses were starting to turn on their lights and come out, because the dog, it sounded like he was treed, but really he was just laid up on a skunk on the bank.
Oh, that's great. See, I hunted out of a Subaru the last several years, and honestly, that was my biggest fear. Was catching a skunk. Honestly, like,
it doesn't really come out. It does not come.
That was always, I'm like, especially the one place I hunt. As the crow flies from my house, it's only about a mile. Now, to drive there, you got to drive like around it, so it's a couple miles. But I'm like, worst case scenario, if I ever get skunked at the one place, I was like, I'll just walk the dog home.
Yeah.
I was like,
I would highly recommend that.
Now, a couple other places is not the case, but I'm like, at least if it's there, I was like, I always have the option. I can just walk him home from here.
The thing that was, because it's happened to me twice, the thing that always blows my mind with skunks is you kind of think, well, whatever thing gets sprayed, that's what's going to smell. But that smell transfers to anything within any kind of radius of it. It's just, if your dog gets it, you're getting it no matter what.
Yeah, I've unfortunately had my fair share. Well, knock on wood, a couple. I shouldn't say. I've had a few incidents with skunks.
Yeah.
Which the one wasn't my dog the night it happened, but the next night he was given to me after he caught and killed a skunk.
What a nice guy.
He was actually a really good coon dog. He was like a 12-year-old dog, and I had actually been bugging my buddy for him for a while. I had a young dog trying to get him started, and I was like, "You should let me have that old Blackie dog."
Yeah.
And I was out there hunting with him, and he probably already planned to give me the dog before, before we caught the skunk.
Yeah.
And but I was out visiting him because I didn't live local to where the guy lived, and he of course catches a skunk. And then like the next day, I'm getting ready to leave, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you can have that Blackie dog." And I was like, "Oh, thanks." The dog just got sprayed by a skunk because he killed it.
That's awesome.
So, and then I had a young dog. Actually, the young dog that I was trying to get started when he gave me that Blackie dog, bait a skunk up. Early Garmin days didn't have. It was before I had an Alpha, so it was just the Astro. Did not have any sort of shock collar.
Oh.
And so
I thought that was the coolest thing since sliced bread with that Astro 220.
I had no way of like toning him, vibrating, shocking, any of that. So I literally had to wait in there because he was not coming to me at all.
Yeah.
So I grabbed him, basically had to shoot the skunk point blank because we were face to face. And then, me and him smelled wonderful.
Yeah. No, luckily I was always in there with them. I was able to like grab a collar or something, but it was never forget.
Yeah. The last time I had a skunk run in, my dog he didn't even do anything wrong. I literally cut my dogs loose on a path. We had made a tree. It's a horse farm that they've got some like riding trails around.
Mm-hmm.
Had made a tree, and we cut him loose down on this trail. And he was a young dog, and he literally just stopped to sniff the daggum thing. Like, he just like stumbled, like it was on the trail, and the dogs. Now, luckily, the old dogs, they ran right past it, but my young dog was like, "Oh, what's this thing?" Stops and sniffs it, and gets a face full.
Yeah,
I watched it happen.
That's when you see it happen.
Yep. But, as much as it stinks, literally, it's not the end of the world.
No, and it's just part of it.
Exactly.
It's part of what you do with a dog.
Yep. So. Well, any more?
We had a dog tree a raccoon in an abandoned house in the middle of the woods, and
nice.
Getting him out of there was a chore. But other than that, not off the top of my head. Let's see. Yeah, I can't think of anything too crazy that I have ready to go.
So rock ledges, skunks,
right,
and coons in abandoned houses.
Yeah.
You've had your fair share of adventures.
Yeah.
Well, Carl, I've had a great time talking about your pack of Cur Dogs, and I appreciate you coming on. Yeah,
I appreciate you having me on it. I was so pumped.
Well, I'm glad. Thank you very much.
Yep. Anytime. Thank you.
You can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Tree Talkin' Media. And until next time.
Keep them talking in the timber.